Hello everybody! How are you doing today? Today I'm going to review one of the nicest fitness hybrids on the market, the Trek FX3 disc. So, what is the Trek FX3 disc? It's a fitness hybrid, which means it's designed for training, longer rides, and just riding around town, but it also is a very capable commuter. Trek already has a great commuter, the FX2, so why do they need another one? This is the high-end version of their commuter-oriented fitness hybrids. The next model up is designed more for fitness only. So there are a few features in this bike that also appear on the sportier bikes, such as the carbon fork and the compact Holotech cranksets with two chainrings in the front instead of three. Also, the parts on this bike are across the board significantly more refined and better quality than the FX2's parts. Today, I will go over all the features of this bike and share my opinion. I will also review every single part of this bike, its overall quality, and whether it's worth upgrading or changing. I will leave some links in the description to the replacement or upgraded parts I believe will make this bike even better. Lastly, I will give you my opinion whether it's worth paying the difference between the FX2 and this one. So, the Trek FX3 comes with one of the nicest frames at this price point. This is the Alpha Gold aluminum, and overall the welding quality is very good. It's very appealing paintwork, really high quality compared to other companies, and overall very good fit and finish. The next part is the fork. This is one of the highlights of this bike for sure. The carbon fork design flows smoothly into the shape of the frame. It also gives a nicer ride feel and can absorb some of the bumps in the road. The best feature of this bike is by far the drivetrain and the brakes. So it has Shimano mountain bike hydraulic brakes, the Acera level. These are probably more than you'll ever need on this type of bike. This is not a downhill brake, but is directly taken from Shimano's entry-level mountain bike parts bin. This is better for riding in city roads, but it does have really strong stopping power, especially if you are going pretty fast. It does not need a lot of maintenance. Maybe every 3,000 miles, it might need to be bled. It has one of the most common brake pads, so you can get replacements anywhere. Overall, you'll be pretty happy with the stopping power of this one. The next part would be the hubs. So these are pretty basic hubs. It's a loose bearing hub, same as the one on the FX2. Over time, they need to be serviced. Overall, pretty good. One nice feature is Trek's through skew. It makes it really easy to take the front wheel on and off. And when you put it on, it helps with aligning the rotor inside the caliper. The next thing I want to talk about is the wheels. The Trek FX2 has double wall rims with Presto valves. So if your pump only handles Schrader, which is the valve cars use, you may want to get a pump that can handle Presto valves. I will leave a link in the description for a really nice pump I've been using for years. The rims are pretty standard, plenty strong for city use. Um, for road use, not really designed to go off-roading. Some trails and dirt is okay, but need to be careful on uneven ground. Regarding the tire, it's a 32 millimeter. It's flat resistant, which is a great upgrade from the FX2. But there are definitely better tires on the market if you're planning to ride often for fitness or commuting. I will leave a link in the description for two types of tires. One is for fitness and one for commuting. If you're planning to ride on dirt, I'll include a tire with more tread to handle dirt and gravel. Now, let's talk about the cockpit. Yes, on this bike, it is one of the best features. This has the 31/8 stem and handlebar combination. Creates a very stiff handlebar. This is great because you're not losing energy. So when you're pedaling hard and grabbing the handlebar tightly, because the cockpit does not flex. About these grips. The grips are nicely done. They feel premium and they're a great upgrade from the FX2's grips. So these are similar in design and feel to the original Ergon GP1 grips. If you have this bike and want similar style but better grips, or if you don't have this bike but want this style grips, I'll leave a link in the description for the original Ergon grips. They are also more affordable than the Trek. I also want to talk about the headset. So this is a sealed bearing unit, and it's a really nice feature. A lot of bikes still come today with loose bearing headsets that are susceptible to water dripping into them. Let's talk about the shifters. This is the 2x9 Shimano Acera shifters. They're well made and refined, and they provide very confident and accurate shifting. One of the best features is the drivetrain. This is a complete Acera group set, which means the parts were actually designed to work with each other. Often you will see on other bikes a mishmash of parts, which usually works well, but is a good way to create compatibility issues and have different performance than the manufacturer intended. Regarding 9-speed drivetrains, while the shifts are more crisp and quick, 9-speed is not as reliable as 8 or 7-speed transmissions. That's mainly because they easily come out of adjustments. Adjustments need to be made often. It is also sensible to rear derailleur wear and alignment. You always need to make sure that the hanger and the derailleur are straight. The chain is really good. It's a KMC X9, really one of the best 9-speed chains on the market. Really nice to have on a bike like this. Again, 9-speed chains don't last as long as 8-speed chains, but they're quieter. Expect to get about 10% less miles per chain. Okay, the cassette. This is a cool cassette. It's an 1136. Very, very large range. This has a bunch of high gears and some really, really low gears as well. You can easily climb, honestly, any hill. And you can also go pretty fast. The combination of the 4630 crankset gives a very wide range of gears, and it's easy to find the right gear Well, that's because they are much closer to each other and require less shifts to reach the gear you fancy. The cassette is Shimano's basic cassette. It's these are painted. They're not chrome, so they're really susceptible to rust. If you live near an ocean or right in the snow where salt is used, I will leave a link in the description for a really good corrosion protection spray, and it's also a lubricant. It's also used by Boeing. And it leaves a Teflon protective coat. You can also use it on your chain and other components. The crankset. This is a really nice unit. Um, well, mainly because of the use of the Shimano Holotech crankset, which is lightweight and stiff, and due to having the bottom brackets bearing outside the frame, it's much more efficient. And it also has a really nice chain guard. The front derailleur is also a Serra, and it works really well with the other components from the same group, of course. And okay, next I want to talk about the pedals. These are terrible pedals. You can see them here. It's one of the weakest points on this bike. Trek decided to go with completely flat pedals with a few sharp bumps to avoid slipping, but these are just not well made and really wrong for the intended use. These pedals have loose bearings also, which is what usually fails on basic plastic pedals like these ones. I would immediately replace this with pedals that have seal bearings and better retention systems, or even aluminum pedals. Again, I will leave a link in the description. The saddle. This is a very nice saddle. Trek traditionally puts nice saddles on their bikes. So it's more on the sporty side because this is a fitness hybrid after all. But you might find it a bit too tough. If you're doing longer rides or just looking for a comfortable saddle, I would recommend replacing this with something softer, something thicker with better cushioning. If you're planning for longer rides, or if you're more into leisure rides, or haven't been on a bike in a while, I would look into a softer saddle, maybe something wider. And again, I'll leave a link in the description to one of my favorite saddles. The next feature I want to talk about is a DuoTrap. DuoTrap is it's a built-in Bluetooth sensor, and it wirelessly transmits data to computer or phone. You should know that it only works with specific brands of computers. Okay, so this is what the commuter version of this bike looks like, and you can see why it's popular because everything bolts on nicely. These Trek fenders are not that sturdy. Not a big fan since they're not the strongest. I like a different type of fenders. Yeah, I'll have a link in the description of my favorite fenders, and then these racks, this rack system, it's not bad, but there are better ones on the market, and I'll leave a link of one of my favorite racks. So because Trek uses a flat mount disc brake system, there's no need for a disc specific rack, which is really cool. Okay, so overall, what do I think about this bike? So this is a really good choice if you want a high quality and efficient commuter, or if you want a smooth and fast bike for fitness purposes. Um, Trek, it's the number one selling company in the world. I mean, they have a phenomenal warranty, and usually they have good dealers that service these bikes and sell them. And if you're deciding between the FX2 disc, this is definitely worth the difference in price. You're getting a lot of significant upgrades for not a lot of money. Um, Overall, this bike offers very high value. What we call bang for the buck. That is it's mostly due to the carbon fork, the drivetrain and the brakes. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And until next time, please subscribe, and thanks for watching.